Namaste, Pranam, hello, hi to whoever is watching. And my today's video is on conversions. So I'm going to talk both about conversions to Hinduism and conversions out of Hinduism. So first I want to talk about conversions to Hinduism. And why is it important to convert people to Hinduism? And what do I even mean when I say that we need to convert people to Hinduism? Because people will start giving irrational arguments, which is exactly what I want to answer in this video. So see, the first thing I want to explain is that conversions to Hinduism are extremely different, radically different from conversions to any other Abrahamic religion or cult. I use the word religion for lack of a better word, but cult is more appropriate. So Hinduism does not convert people in the same way as what Abrahamic religions do, right? And what is the difference? So the difference is that in Hinduism, the ultimate goal and the ultimate path for every living being, not just human beings, for any being which exists on the planet is moksha, is the ultimate realization and living that realization. It is not just moksha when you are dying. This is a very important part. It is jivan mukti, living an enlightened life, living and radiating enlightenment as a part of your life, right? That is the ultimate goal of Hinduism, of all creatures. So when any being embraces Hinduism, now again I'm using the word Hinduism and religion because that's how everybody understands it, but I'm sure that by now people know that what I'm talking about is not limited to just the word religion, right? So when any being embraces Hinduism, what happens is that that possibility for that ultimate happening opens up in them. Because unless you embrace a possibility, unless you agree to a possibility, unless you accept that there is such a possibility, that possibility itself will never happen in you, right? So when any being embraces Hinduism, this is the most important thing that happens. Of course, there are many other things also that happen. There are of course, there are major differences in the basic tenets of Hinduism versus the tenets of other religions. But the most important difference is that no other religion gives you this ultimate possibility. The other religions which give you this ultimate possibility are also offshoots of Hinduism, like Jainism, like Buddhism, or some other maybe indigenous cultures. But none of the mainstream Abrahamic cults give you this possibility. For them, I won't say the ultimate, but the final thing for them is some sort of a heaven, right? And what is that? That is just some sort of a pleasure. But in Hinduism, pleasure is not the ultimate. In fact, in Hinduism, you're repeatedly told to do the right thing, not the pleasurable thing, not the thing which is giving you the most pleasure or pleasantness. You're told to do what is right. You're told to live dharma. You're not dangled a carrot in front of you to do something. So if I had to summarize all of these other cults, it could just be basically the carrot and stick. That is what they're all about. You do this, you get heaven. You do this, you get hell. That's it. That's all their whole ideology is about. And people are willing to kill, rape, and do horrendous things just for that carrot and stick. Whereas in Hinduism, we are really taught to do what is going to lead you to the ultimate in every step, whether it is how you deal with people, whether it is the kind of relationships you have in life, or what kind of wealth you have in life, or what kind of spiritual practices you have in life. Everything is meant to lead you to that ultimate. And you are repeatedly taught to move away from fear and greed. Dharma cannot be practiced as long as you are in fear and greed, right? If you're talking about dharma, which is what many people discuss or think they are doing. But there can be no dharma if you have personal fear and greed driving you forward. Whereas in Abrahamic cults, everything is driven only by fear and greed. What is carrot and stick? Carrot and stick is fear and greed, right? So that is the first thing I wanted to clarify. Then the second thing is Hinduism has many paths. There are infinite ways of realizing the ultimate. Of course, some are easier, some are more difficult, but they're all based on different types of beings. And I'm using the word beings repeatedly because it is not just for human beings. It is for everyone, right? So Hinduism has infinite number of paths, and that is because Hinduism ensures that no being is left behind. Even if you're a pisacha, even if you're an insect, there is a possibility for you to one day realize that you are the ultimate and experience the ultimate yourself, right? That is the level of compassion which the cosmos has for you, right? And this is why there are so many sampradayas in Hinduism, and each sampradaya has its own way of embracing you into Hinduism. So there is an ongoing discussion in many circles where some people are trying to say that there should be some uniform way of converting Hindus to Hinduism, and I disagree with that because see, the very beauty of Hinduism is that we are so rich. We have so much to offer. We have so many sampradayas. You can pick whichever sampradaya you like, whichever deity you want to worship, right? Pick up whichever scripture you want to read, right? So we cannot make it uniform that, there can be only one way of converting something to Hinduism. As long as you're following the lineage, you're following the traditions of your sampradaya, and the person is understanding what they are signing up for, that should be accepted as a proper way of converting people to Hinduism. The more important thing is that when we are converting people back to Hinduism, the people who are converting should understand the core tenets of Hinduism, and they should take up spiritual practices to live as a Hindu, not just in private life, even in public life. Now, I'm not saying you make a grand show of it, but I'm just saying that they should not be afraid or ashamed to be Hindu. And they should know what is Hinduism, or they should make sincere efforts to learn what is Hinduism. Because many freshly converted Hindus start equating things from their previous learnings from Christianity or Islam or whatever into Hinduism. They start bringing those ideas into Hinduism, which is completely wrong. You can't do that. Right? Hinduism is completely different. They are on different tracks altogether. So you can't bring those ideas and make it a hodgepodge khichdi and start thinking that is Hinduism. You have to be clear what is Hinduism when you are converting. That is much more important. Now, the last thing is that what is the need for converting people to Hinduism, and what about the people who are converting Hindus to other religions? See, it is not a game of numbers. Or rather, I should say it is not a game of numbers alone. Because when some Hindu converts to some other religion, you have to understand that not just that person, all the future generations are getting denied of the possibility which Hinduism gives you. Right? And you have to think big picture. Don't just think like, don't think like a clock. Think big picture. When a Hindu, even one Hindu is converted to Christianity or Islam or whatever, think of their future generations. What is going to happen to them? Whether they are converted by force or by trickery or by carrot and stick or by whatever method, right? Their entire future generations are going to be damned, right? So now these cults, as I like to call them, have this concept of eternal damnation. Can you imagine that the people who are so-called non-believers are eternally damned? Like, that is a belief, right? So anybody who goes into that cult is going to live that idea of eternal damnation their entire life. Can you imagine living day after day with that idea, what it will do to your psyche, what it will do to your mental health? And yes, it is related to mental health. Because if you know that at some future date you are going to get liberated, you will live blissfully, you will not be shattered, you will not be shaken by situations around you, then automatically the way you strategize your life, the way you live your life today changes. And that possibility of living the ultimate is only in Hinduism, it is not in any other cult. So it is extremely important to convert people back to Hinduism. And when I say convert, I already explained what I mean. Like, people don't just need to be Hindu in names. There are like so many Hindus, but they're Hindus only in name. They have no freaking clue about even the core tenets of Hinduism. or they're not convinced about it, or they've not explored it enough, or they try to be scientific but they don't even understand what are the limits of science, right? They don't understand the Hindu laws of birth and death, simple things like that. So when I say Hindu laws, I don't mean like Hindu laws, it is the cosmic laws which Hinduism just reveals to you. So this is one more difference, since we're talking of differences. Hinduism is not one person's word. Hinduism is the cosmos revealing itself to you. And that cosmos goes on reincarnating in every yuga in the form of enlightened masters and rishis and munis and incarnations who go on revealing the secrets of the cosmos to you. That is why enlightened masters are really important, because they tell you the cosmic truths in a digestible form, in a form which you can understand. So many people keep complaining, oh, we don't understand the Shastras and they're so difficult and I don't know Sanskrit. First of all, that's your problem. Secondly, just to solve this problem, enlightened masters keep on happening so that you do understand the Shastras. Now it is up to you, the onus is on you to find an enlightened master who can teach you the Shastras in a way in which you can understand. So stop blaming the masters and start listening to them. That is the first thing I'll say. And the last thing I want to say is that because of these conversions outside of Hinduism and many masters who have stopped these conversions, they are all attacked. So most of the Hindu gurus are extremely under attack. I mean, under extreme attacks. Like there have been so many attempts on their lives. Their properties have been destroyed. Their disciples have been murdered. I don't even want to go on listing because it is very, very painful. It is extremely painful, the amount of atrocities Hindu masters have gone through just to help Hinduism survive, and they're still going through. So there are many people, even Hindus, who keep questioning the Hindu masters just over some differences of opinion. Like, you have certain ridiculous views about life or whatever you think as life, and you have a difference of opinion with some master, and for that you will keep on abusing, ridiculing, whatever. Now, why don't you point that same gun of your logic to the people who are abusing the master and question their intentions? Because not even 9 out of 10, 9.9 out of 10, these masters are ridiculed by media and by many other such lobbies because they are checking these conversions. This is the truth. Whether you like it or not, this is the truth. And the same gun of logic which you point towards the masters, you should sometimes point towards those who are attacking the masters. And then you will know that there's a lot in that Pandora's box. Right? So this is pretty much all I have to say about conversions to Hinduism at this point. And I wanted to answer some of the main questions which I've encountered in the last few months. And thank you for listening.